Alright guys, welcome back to the shop. Part 16 of this restoration project, and I have been working my butt off trying to get these fuel lines straightened out, and I almost had it. Got it looking pretty good. I'll give y'all a close-up view starting from up here. I figured out that this main line had to go through this little crook right there in that brake line. Alright, then it comes down, the brake line connects together with the fuel lines. This is the return line right here, fuel return line. It's kind of separate. So the rear brake line and the fuel line and the vent line kind of run together. Come around, tie back together right here, and you can see what I have done. That is the rear brake line. What happened was the nut was very close to that line. So as I tightened up the bracket for this return line, it pinched the brake line. And of course now I've got to replace this section of brake line, which is not that hard a deal. It's just I've got to get another one of these flared couplings right here to match it up, just like that. I'm gonna put it probably in line here somewhere down this flat. But to do that, I've got to take that entire brake line off all the way back to the proportion valve right here, so I can take it to the to my vise and flare it. So I'm holding off on the rest of that right now. I've got it took loose down here at this coupling, and it's just a matter of undoing a few more brackets, and it should come free. Got one down there in the front. I don't know if I can see it right there. And I should be able to pull that out. So I've got to go order a flared end, and I don't know exactly what size that is, coupling. So I'm gonna have to get my I'm gonna have to get my calipers and get a measuring on this nut right here to see what size it is. I'm pretty sure I've got some nuts for it. So other than that, everything was going together real good. It was all looking pretty and nice and neat. I don't know, but the brake line was rubbing up against that nut, so I took the return line off, or return line loose, to put this bracket on. And then as I was putting the return line back on, it got pinched by the, I thought the socket was just going to ride on top of it, but I think actually the bottom of that bracket had caught it. And of course I was sitting in the floor, I couldn't really see where the socket was, but anyway, we'll get that taken care of. That's just a little minor setback, but it is a pretty good setback. I'd like to get all this run before I put my motor and transmission in. So what I think I'm going to do, I may go ahead and take that coupling off and go to the hardware store and just see if I can find anything that'll match it. That being a double flared coupling, it may not, I may not be able to find one locally. I don't know. Maybe at the parts store. I don't know. So that is it for right now, and I'll get back with you as soon as I get the parts. Alright guys, so I went out to the shop to get my flare tool, and I found another coupling. I also found a brand new stick of brake line that's got one end already flared, so here's the old coupling. And of course I had two nuts, but I don't need two nuts. I got one already on here, so now I just got to figure out how long I need it and cut it off and flare it. Alright guys, so here's my damaged spot. I mean, I pretty much crimped it. Here's what I want to cut off. So I'm gonna use my tubing cutter. It's good to have done brake line work in the past. I'm pretty much set up for doing it. One thing, I've got some big ends that fits these small lines. I just didn't bring one with me. I would replace the other end of this thing because it is the one I messed up. So you just want to slowly rotate it, tighten it down every few rounds a little bit. And eventually it's going to pop free like that. Should have a perfect cut. And then of course you want to take this tool here and just kind of wallow out the inside. Hope y'all can see what I'm doing here. Just to get the inside out. And then, of course, I've got to get set up. And don't forget to put the nut on there. That's the easiest thing to do. If you never had any dealings with this Eastwood's what am I trying to say? Double flare tool. It's gotta get it up above there. There you go. This has got to be able to go in. This is not an inexpensive tool, but if you're going to be using a lot of, if you're going to be doing a lot of double flares, it is well worth the money. We're going to set this on operation 0, put her die in, put her nut on. I may have to turn my, oh man, this damn nut ain't going to work. Well, it's a good thing I've got 2 nuts. That nut was made for a 3/16 brake line. But the other brake line has 2 nuts on it. I just got to get it off. But I'm gonna have to move this stuff out of my way. Brake line's got to come in here, so we need to turn this vise where I can get the brake line on it. Good thing about having a, I've also got, remember I got a handle on this thing it's got to go on there. We can't get too far back. I think that'll work right there though. Handle won't get. So let me get one of these brake lines off here. Since I'm going to use this end, I really could just cut this other one off. This is a pretty long nut, but it'll work. So now we need to find our brake line right here, put our nut on, and our other hickey here. Roll this damn thing. Here. Don't act like it wants to go in. No, that ain't enough. There it goes. Now we'll push everything kind of together right here. Tighten that down. Alright, and then on top of this thing, if y'all ever fooled with one of these, let's see if we can get it to focus. Operation 0 is your initial operation. Now we need to find operation 1 for a 1/4 inch, which is right here. Op 1 1/4 inch, and we'll put it in place right there. And we move the handle. Hope the whole damn thing don't turn. Alright. Bad thing about these damn glasses, they don't lock very good. Alright, and then we'll go to operation 2, 1/4 inch. And set it back up. Have my hands. Once operation 2, then we do it like that. We'll loosen that, pull this out, and we have a very nice double flared end on it. So the nut's going to come out, and it's going to look like that. So that's stage 1. That's done. I want to kind of put some pressure on this nut, but I don't want to put too much on there. See what I'm trying to do here. I want this to bend down. About kinking it. Now this ain't a bad kink. We may try it and live with it. Show what I got here. It's not as good as that one, but that's a long radius bend. This is a short bend. The only other alternative is to go and get my bending tool, and now I'm not sure that it's going to want to make that short a bend. So anyway, we're going to run with this, and if we have issues, it'll be simple enough to change this section out later. So now we're going to get everything back together, get our lines back run, and hopefully no issues getting everything matched back up, and we'll see what it looks like. Alright guys, so I actually had cut it just a little short. So I ended up having to loosen it up back here where I could move this back line forward a little bit. And like I said, it's a little bit of a lot more of a sharp 90 than I wanted. But I was able to get it in. Everything looks pretty damn sharp. And up here, I figured out that, you know, when I went back with it, that these two big lines, they go kind of up in this groove here. So when it went back, it's pretty good. Now I did leave a bracket off this line right here. Should be a bracket on it, but it's a lot easier right now to leave it off to put a fuel line on it. And then of course I like 2 more, like this one down here and this one here. But I would say it's pretty much a done deal now, except for hooking up the hoses. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back with just regular hose clamps, screw type clamps, Alright, so here's the 3/8 hose, here's the 1/4 inch hose. These are my hose cutters. If you're gonna be cutting hose, I suggest you get you a pair of these. Best things ever invented for cutting hose. These are Craftsman. They also come with a spare blade. I've never had to replace the blade in it. Just don't be cutting metal with it. Alright, so one of these is gonna go here. And the other one is going to go up here. Now I've got to figure out what this one does. This one comes from here all the way down to here. This one's going to go here. This is going to go up to here. So I need to cut that one off about right there. So easy. And notice I got plenty of this because this also is used at the front. And I'll probably end up having to get some more from the vent lines. Alright, now this one is going to this one. So that looks like about right there. And now we can put our ends on. Hopefully these ends are going to be the right ones. So I need to get some small ones for these hoses, but I don't know, maybe too small now. Yeah, I think it'll work. Maybe. Maybe not. It's gonna be a little on the small side once we get it on the pipe. Man, I've got to get some bigger ones. And these won't be no issue here. No problem with them whatsoever. And we'll tighten them down. And I'm gonna have to loosen these up to get them over the hump there. Alright, so just like the vent line, that'll run from here to there. You gotta kind of keep in mind if you ever have to replace these hoses from the bottom, you may have to take a little die grinder or something and cut these off if you can't get to the nuts. Of course, all the nuts are on top because I'm putting them in from the top. It makes it a little difficult when you have to change them out later. Alright, so that's all I can do here. I can go ahead and start working on my tank brackets. Yes, tank brackets.